For more, let's bring in Israeli Ambassador to the United Nations, Danny Danon. Mr. Ambassador, welcome.
Thank you for having me again, Mike.
So, sir, what is your reaction to the International Criminal Court removing its chief prosecutor after those sexual misconduct allegations?
It is a very important decision. 2 years ago, when this prosecutor decided to actually start the investigation against our Prime Minister and Minister of Defense, we said it clearly, it's a distraction. And today, the UN voted to send him home because they checked the allegations and they realized that this guy should not be in this place. But we have to look at the allegations themselves. It's about time that the ICC would stop the investigation and the inquiry against Prime Minister Netanyahu. It is a political theater, political circus, and we demand more from this body.
Then there's New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani talking tough about your Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu. Let's play it, and I'll get your reaction.
I can also look at Benjamin Netanyahu and see the way that he has orchestrated this genocide and also deem him to similarly be a war criminal. I will not be welcoming Benjamin Netanyahu or any other war criminals when they come to this city.
What do you make of his hostility?
You know, it's exactly the same like the ICC. It's another official who wants to distract from his own problems, and he's blaming Israel, blaming the Jewish communities. You know, Mayor Mamdani is inciting against Jews. And then we see what happened last Friday on the streets of New York when people are being stabbed. He cannot condemn the attack where 2 days before he actually instigated the fire. So it is about time that the mayor will show more responsibility, will understand that he has to deal with the issues of New York and not to incite against the Jewish community, against Israel. That is not his role. It is shameful what he is doing. It is dangerous what he is doing. It is about time that he will be more responsible.
Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman is not amused. Take a listen to this.
You know, I could have him arrested if he goes to Pennsylvania. It's a joke, and he's a clown.
Do you worry about the UN General Assembly in September?
Prime Minister Netanyahu will come to New York. He will speak in the General Assembly. The only thing the mayor can do is to come and listen to him. Maybe he will learn something. But I'm worried what will happen until that moment. You know, the Prime Minister, he has security. But the people who live in New York, they don't have security. And I see that the mayor is using the UN General Assembly as part of his future campaign to make a division between the people of New York, to incite. And I'm worried that we will see more riots, more demonstrations. So I'm calling the mayor, be responsible, deal with your responsibilities, deal with the garbage of New York, deal with the problems of New York, leave foreign affairs to the president, secretary of state. They know what they're doing.
There's been a lot of talk about a potential civilian nuclear agreement with Saudi Arabia. What would the impact be across the Middle East if the Saudis were to join the Abraham Accords?
So we will be very happy to see the Saudis joining the Abraham Accords. I think it can happen. I think President Trump knows that under his leadership, we can expand the accords. And it will not be only the Saudis. You know, the Saudis will bring with them many other countries from the region, from Asia. So it will be a remarkable achievement, and I hope it will happen sooner than later.
In the House of Representatives, Congress passed a major defense authorization bill. There was some pushback on U.S.-Israel cooperation. Does that worry you?
We are together. We are fighting the same enemies. We saw what we did together against the Iranian regime. And I think today the Americans realize that they can trust Israel. Look, Mike, what's happening with the Europeans. They are not allowing U.S. aircraft to fly over certain countries in Europe or to refuel. That's not the case with Israel. We will always stand with the U.S., and I think we have to plan ahead about what we want to achieve. And you know, today when we share the intelligence with our American colleagues, they appreciate the bond between Israel and the U.S. It will continue, despite those voices that we hear from different people.
Ambassador Danny Danon, always great to see you. Thanks for your...
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.